If I could only pick one video to say which one had the most impact on my YouTube channel, it would 100% have to be this video right here, how the Nintendo Switch could wreck the competition. This video honestly saved my entire YouTube channel back in 2016 when I released it, as I was basically stuck at like 400 subs and just couldn't gain any more. And I had thought that maybe kind of my potential on YouTube was done and that I wasn't really ever going to gain any more subs. And I was even getting close to kind of just wrapping everything up and quitting, but the Nintendo Switch had gotten revealed. I thought it was a very interesting system that had a lot of potential, and so I made a video called How the Nintendo Switch Could Wreck the Competition, and talking about all the good aspects of it and how it could be very successful. And this video somehow blew up and managed to get over 100,000 views, and it honestly made just enough money after I sold all of my Wii U stuff to actually be able to buy a Nintendo Switch the day of release. So I have a lot to thank for that video, because it also took me from 400 subs to 1,000 subs, and it was really kind of after that where I started getting a little bit more consistent viewers and I was able to have this channel grow. And if I didn't release that video, I genuinely don't know if this channel would still be around. Now that video did age like fine wine, as the Nintendo Switch did end up becoming one of the most successful video game systems of all time, but I wouldn't recommend watching that video nowadays because I recorded that when I was like 16 or 17, so the audio quality is really bad in that video, the editing is not that good either. That was before I learned a lot of the stuff that I know now. However, there is a Nintendo Switch successor that's just around the corner, and once again, I do have that same type of feeling that the Nintendo Switch successor is also going to be very, very successful as well. So we are creating the successor to that video here. I'm going to be talking about how the Nintendo Switch 2 could wreck the competition of Xbox and PlayStation. Now at first look, the Nintendo Switch 2 does look very similar to the current Nintendo Switch, and someone might look at that and be like, well, how's that going to get more people to actually buy the Nintendo Switch 2? Maybe people might not even be as interested anymore because they already have the current Nintendo Switch and they kind of know what to expect. But it's really going to be the stuff that's inside of this system that's really going to be making the system be even better than the current Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be a massive leap of power over the current Nintendo Switch that we have right now, and this is going to allow for so many more third-party games and games that you would have never expected to come to a Nintendo system to finally be able to do so. Now, we don't know the exact specs as the system hasn't released yet. However, looking at all the rumors and leaked clock speeds and all of that, it's looking like the Nintendo Switch 2 in handheld mode is going to be about as powerful as a base PlayStation 4. And then in docked mode, it's going to be around as powerful as a PlayStation 4 Pro. And so having this type of power and performance on a portable tablet-like system is going to be incredible, because we're really starting to notice now the law of diminishing returns when it comes to going from one generation to another, as generational leaps that we used to get in the past when it came from going from like one video game generation to a new one used to be like a drastic night and day difference. I mean, just look at like the PlayStation 1 to the PlayStation 2. That's probably one of the most insane like kind of generational leaps that we will probably ever see, where like if you just look at like a Final Fantasy game that came out on the PlayStation 1, this is what those 3D graphics look like on that system, and then compare that now to the first Final Fantasy game that came out on the PlayStation 2, just looking at this type of evolution is insane to see how much changed in just a few years. But if you compare a really good looking PS4 game now to a PS5 game, then yeah, the PS5 game does look better, but it certainly doesn't feel like that night and day type of drastic difference that you were getting from the PS1 to the PS2. And that's pretty much how it's going to be now because of the law of diminishing returns, where going from the PS5 to the PS6 will never feel like PS1 to PS2, going from the PS6 to the PS7 won't, and that's pretty much just the way that it is. Video game visuals and graphics and textures and everything have just gotten so good over the last couple of years that you're just never really going to see such a crazy difference going from one generation to another, because they all just look really good. And I mean, there's so many PS4 games that still to this day look incredibly stunning and beautiful and hold up very well and could easily still be played in 2025, and they don't feel outdated at all. And especially if you had a PS4 Pro, that system was already capable of outputting in 4K resolution, and so going from that to a PS5 didn't really feel like a night and day type of difference at all, because you were already used to seeing 4K visuals compared to like a 1080p system like the base PS4, and going from that to finally getting 4K on the PS5. I mean, just look at this gameplay of Spider-Man that's running on the PS4 Pro, and you can see right here that the game still looks incredibly stunning, it looks beautiful, and it still looks very good even in 2025. And now if we bring up the brand new Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 5, yeah, the game does look better, but does it really feel like a night and day difference to what you were seeing before? Because the city still looks just as good to me, and everything else still feels very similar, but it's definitely not like what you were seeing going from like a PS1 game to a PS2. And so the Nintendo Switch 2 finally allowing for this type of performance is really going to bring it very close now to pretty much where a lot of the other systems are in terms of just how the visuals and everything look. Like, of course, you're going to be getting the best of the best performance and visuals on the PS5 and the PS5 Pro and the Xbox Series X and everything, but Nintendo Switch 2 games should not be super far behind like what we're seeing right now on the current Nintendo Switch, and that's the best part. And the big power leap should allow for a lot of these multi-platform games to finally allow the opportunity to also release on Nintendo systems. And so if the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be getting these big multi-platform games that are coming out on PlayStation and Xbox, and also in addition to Nintendo's insane exclusives like a brand new Mario Kart and Smash Bros and Pokemon and Fire Emblem and Xenoblade and all of that, then yeah, the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be an absolutely insane system to get, because you're going to have so many games now that you can play. You're not going to be missing out on a lot of these big third-party games, but you're also going to have Nintendo's incredible games on there too, and the value of that system is just going to be insane. Exclusive games will always be the biggest selling point for a video game system, because that is the only platform where you can play those games. And so if you are interested in something like Pokemon, you're gonna have to get a Nintendo Switch 2 at some point, because all of those brand new generations of Pokemon are only gonna come out on that. And the same thing applies for all of the other Nintendo IPs that we have too, like a brand new Splatoon game or a brand new Smash Bros game, a brand new Mario Kart, and all of that type of stuff. And so the thing is, with PlayStation and Xbox now, they've really kind of started branching away from exclusives, and it's really because of that reason that you're kind of not really starting to see the reason anymore to get a PlayStation or an Xbox either, and really the only reason is just if you don't like playing on PC. Xbox being owned by Microsoft, all of the biggest new releases that come out on it are also available on PC. Even the big value with Game Pass is available for PC Game Pass too, and so you can get pretty much all of those games on a computer right now. And then with PlayStation, you've got like a small little period where you can play the games earlier on the PS5, but after a couple of months, all of the biggest exclusives and big releases on PlayStation also end up coming out on PC as well. And so the reason for getting a PS5 or an Xbox really only is now if you hate playing on PC, because all of those biggest releases now also start to appear on other platforms, to the point now where I really think that after the PS5, especially now if we move to that all digital future because of what we've seen with the PS5 Pro, like if the PS6 isn't even going to take like physical discs anymore, I really think that I'm just going to like drop getting PlayStation systems and just basically move to having an entire Steam library and just playing on PC. Like, I can wait a couple of months if I need to for the brand new PS6 game to come out on PC, but it really might just become now that you need to just get a PC and just have a Nintendo Switch 2, because you're not going to be able to get Nintendo's games on PC, but you're just going to have everything else that you can play on PC and also have on the Switch 2 when it comes to Nintendo's exclusives. And I think a lot of you would agree that the PS5 and Xbox Series X generation has definitely felt kind of stale and lackluster compared to what we used to get in like the PS4 generation and the Xbox One generation in terms of new releases. It felt like we were getting big new games like every couple of months, and like there was definitely some big games coming out all the time and new exclusives and experiences on the PS4, but you're just not really getting that with the PS5, especially at the start where a lot of the biggest games were also cross-platform on the PS4 as well. So Spider-Man, Miles Morales, God of War Ragnarok, those types of games were already on PS4, so they were already cross-gen there. And then even with like the new games now on PS5, Stellar Blade, Spider-Man 2, all of those games are gonna now come out on the PC as well, or have already released on the PC. So you're really not having like a whole bunch of exclusives anymore to warrant you wanting to buy a PS5. And compare that to the Nintendo Switch 2, which I guarantee you, as soon as we see that Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, there's going to be so many exclusive games and so many amazing things that are only going to be on the Nintendo Switch 2 that it's immediately going to make so many people be like, alright, that's it, I have to get a Nintendo Switch 2 right now. And so when it comes to the discussion of if the Nintendo Switch 2 will be even more successful than the current Nintendo Switch, that's a question that I really don't know, because that's a little bit harder to say, as the Nintendo Switch right now is such an insanely successful system, selling close to 150 million units, that I don't really know if the Nintendo Switch 2 being so similar is ever really going to be able to reach that. However, I wouldn't say that it's impossible either, especially if we get a lot of big third-party games that are coming out on there, and pair that with like Nintendo's amazing exclusives too. It definitely could be possible that the Nintendo Switch 2 very well could exceed it. I do feel like it's a little unlikely though, but I definitely feel like this system is going to be extremely successful and probably reach around that 100 million mark again, and it should be pretty nice to see. But yeah, there you go guys, those are pretty much my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2 and how I feel like it once again has the ability to wreck the competition of Xbox and PlayStation. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to click that like button and also subscribe to the channel as well. I'm definitely gonna have some more videos talking about the Switch 2, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Comment down below and let me know what you think about this. Do you think that the Nintendo Switch 2 has the ability to be just as successful as the current Nintendo Switch, even more? How do you feel like it's gonna do compared to Xbox and PlayStation? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. But if you don't have anything to say about it, just comment your favorite emoji down below for some engagement. I would really appreciate it. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.